Devlin stared at her with a level of disdain he could not hide. Once at Blackwater, he would have his answers. What was the real reason Miss Bromfield ended her betrothal to his brother? Why had she invented the story of Ambrose's fondness for men? What prompted his brother to wander Wimbledon Common in the dead of night? And what was so important about the letters she'd written that her father would demand access to Devlin's home? "Then I trust you had luck with the bishop," Devlin said in an attempt to focus on the matter at hand. The Baron reached into his coat pocket and retrieved a tightly rolled scroll. The Archbishop refused to grant a special license. Bromfield leant forward and threw the document onto the desk. "Damnation! On what grounds?" Devlin snatched the paper. "On the grounds that one applicant is of inferior birth," the Baron said haughtily. Miss Bromfield sniggered. Anger ignited in Devlin's chest. "My bloodline is purer than yours. My grandfather was a viscount. How dare the Baron suggest a Drake was an inferior match for his serpent daughter?" "The bishop granted a common license," the Baron said. "With some persuasion, I managed to make him see the urgency of the case." A brief flutter of relief filled Devlin's chest until he remembered whom he was marrying. "Then we will marry in the private chapel at Blackwater at 10 in the morning." "So, you have been a resident in the parish for 4 weeks?" The Baron stared down his nose. Would he use Devlin's absence from Blackwater as an excuse to delay? "Of course," Devlin lied. "I'm certain the Reverend Fisher will confirm that to be the case." The clergy rarely enforced the rules as long as there were no impediments to the marriage. Devlin unravelled the scroll. The blue tax stamp confirmed the document's legitimacy. "Should we discuss the lady's dowry? Any portions or trusts set aside for children?" Baron Bromfield cleared his throat. "There is no dowry. You won my daughter's hand, nothing more." The comment drew Devlin's attention away from the document. "A dowry is about protecting Miss Bromfield's future as much as rewarding me for shouldering such a burden. And what a crippling weight it was." He waited for Miss Bromfield to gasp at the insult, to jump up from her chair and flick her forked tongue in warning. But she sat there demurely, as if nothing he could say or do could unsettle her calm composure. "Miss Bromfield has a sizable dowry," the Baron informed with an arrogant grin. "However, Miss Duval does not." The maid put a trembling hand to her mouth and sucked in a breath. Devlin surveyed the scene. It suddenly occurred to him that a man as cunning as the Baron or a lady as devious as Miss Bromfield would come out fighting when backed into a corner. "And who is Miss Duval?" Devlin asked, though he had a suspicion he would not like the answer. "My daughter." The Baron gestured to the petite girl behind him. "The lady whose hand you won at the gaming table." Devlin did not breathe, did not blink. The Baron had attacked his flank, and he had not seen the bastard coming. Do not show any sign of weakness. Do not give them the satisfaction. Using every ounce of willpower he possessed, Devlin kept an impassive expression as he scanned the details on the document. His gaze lingered on the name Juliet Duval. Well, at least the bishop had recorded Blackwater as the place to solemnize the marriage. Once confident he was not likely to dart across the desk and throttle the Baron with his bare hands, Devlin looked up and met Miss Duval's gaze. While she, too, tried to keep her chin high and shoulders square, he could see a wealth of pain hidden behind her vibrant green eyes. How was he to protest without making the woman feel more worthless than she already did? It was clear from her dress, her name, the way she stood behind her family like the hired help, that the Baron cared nothing for Miss Duval's welfare. Devlin exhaled slowly. "Miss Duval is your illegitimate daughter," he attempted to clarify.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.